Hello everyone, this is Dr. Rakesh Barik. I thank NES Gateway India section for giving me an opportunity to talk about an marine corrosion session on erosion corrosion performance of copper-based alloys for marine environment. I know this is a very difficult situation for everybody in this corona pandemic period. But however, we are keep going to continue the discussion and our keep on going to work on corrosion, and we will be. I think this research and our contribution to the field of corrosion science will be continuing, though we are not able to meet up, but I'm sure we'll be meeting very soon and we'll discuss the idea in person. So, okay, I'm going to talk about this topic, which is, one of the, though NES is talking about this, pipeline, but here also I will be talking about one of the parameters of the pipelines is the flow corrosion. So I will just talk about some materials which is being, used for heat exchanger pipes or maybe drinking water pipes in, in a chemical industry or in the oil and gas industry, which is being, accelerated its corrosion in presence of a aggressive environment. I think I don't need to introduce myself. I'm from CSR Central Electrochemical Research Institute, Karaikudi, Tamil Nadu, and this is well based in close to Trichy and Madurai, and we do a lot of work in various types of corrosion. So one of the area I look focused into the erosion corrosion. So what I'm going to talk about this topic is this is a copper-based alloys, and we all know that it's a very widely applied in the naval application or in the marine condition. But however, the pure copper is not much being used. But when it comes to alloying element like cupronickel, aluminum bronzes, or nickel aluminum bronze, which is nothing but a copper-based alloys, which has extensive application in in the marine environment. If you look at these components I have here, like valves and fittings, ship propellers, pumps, shafts, valve stems, heat exchangers, and water boxes. So these are the wide application of this of this copper-based alloys. And here I have a properties. For example, when you look at a component, if it's in the open sea water or in the dry dock condition. So there, what are the property can influence your corrosion behavior? Whether it could be shear stress, or it could be the the mass transport due to the flow corrosion, or being having the protection strategy like cathodic protection, or the various environmental parameters like temperature, salinity. So these are the, but all these properties can vary from one place to another one. So that's why these components are being affected by the operational cycles, which is very tricky when you choose this copper-based alloys for a marine-based application. And but well, in this particular research, what I did actually, I took a nickel aluminum bronze, which I'm going to talk about the composition and all that. So in that, I studied mostly the flow corrosion, erosion, and erosion corrosion behavior, and I compared with a alternative called it's a coating actually. The coating the coating was achieved using HVOP coating. It's called high velocity oxyfueling process. In that, I coat this nickel aluminum bronze materials on the surface of a cast on the surface of a mild steel to achieve this cast nab property. So now we'll see when we go towards in our the presentation, we'll see how it behaves. So this is the actual composition of the cast nab. If you look at here, the major component is the copper. Copper is the but the nickel aluminum bronze. But though its name is bronze, but it doesn't have any tin content. But this nickel aluminum bronze contains major component like nickel, aluminum, and iron. We can see aluminum comes to 9 to 10%, nickel and iron like 5 to 6%, and the rest of the elements are like chromium, and you'll be having some balance copper. Then I'm comparing with the nab coating, which is being done using a a spraying gun, diamond jet HBOP spraying gun, and that is coated on a bare steel surface, which is 436 steel, and being also compared with HPO. This is only aluminum bronze, where you have a variation in the composition of all these aluminum, nickel, and iron. In addition, some other components like molybdenum and steel. But this the but the wonderful things about This alloy is it's a microstructure which is having a various different phases, 5 different phases, alpha, beta, kappa. Because we know that in the moment, because of these different phases, it has a very chance of going selective phase corrosion. It means, like we know that in case of your brass, where you have a copper zinc alloy, the zinc is the selectively goes because it's highly electrochemical active compared to copper. So similarly, here the phases, we have to see the alpha phase which is rich in copper, it preferentially corrodes in seawater, which have been seen in this condition. So now I'm going to see these behaviors in a erosion and a corrosion environment. So I just want to, before I go and talk to the basics of erosion and corrosion mechanism, here I will just talk about the basics of a copper metal when you immerse in a chloride environment. But if you look at here, for example, like you take a piece of copper and immerse in chloride environment, the major cathodic reaction is the oxygen reduction. So this is the oxygen reduction happens and you go to OH minus, it involves 4 electron process. And this and the further complexation of chloride with copper, you get a copper chloro complex, and that copper chloro complex can form a cuprous oxide. So this is very tricky here. These experiment, the setup of the formation of this cuprous oxide or that transformation of that cuprous to cupric, we only encounter in a in a metal like on copper only in a static case. But the moment we go to flow condition or the erosion corrosion condition, this formation of copper oxide is being limited and doesn't form actually, that we will see in one of our example. But here I have a base copper metal I have here, and in this, if you see here, that is our classical anodic reaction. The electron leach out from the releases from the copper, and it reacts with the this oxygen and water which is in the bulk media, and it forms a cuprous ion, and the cuprous ion can react with the chloride complex for a cuprous chloro complex. Then then it forms a lot of precipitates like what do you call the green color precipitates. You end up in having an atacamite. But all these phenomena we see them in when there is a static environment. But the moment we go into flow condition, that is become changes, that we'll see. But here the other one was a pure copper. Now I'm talking about corrosion mechanism of the NAP. There's a nickel aluminum bronze, but you can see below the substrate I have a this because this is I already told you this nickel aluminum bronze, once you expose it, it has different layers of oxide film formation. One of the good thing about this alloy is formation of your Al2O3 rich layer, and this Al2O3 rich layer is actually hinders the transport of this copper ion through the to the upper surface or to the bulk liquid, and it prevents the corrosion. But this is what we see. In addition to copper, you'll have another layer called of aluminum oxide. Now I'll go into my experiment which I have been carried out for this particular work. One is the first experiment is corrosion, that is nothing but called flow corrosion, where I have a liquid of 3.5% of sodium chloride solution is passing through that is creating a jet and go and impinge on the surface, that is velocity 3 to 6 meters per second. Then I go to erosion, but in the erosion is nothing but a mechanical process. Like for example, like you talk about preparing a surface for like a painted surface, you do sand blasting or grit blasting. What you do, you try to remove some some sort of corrosion product from the surface. So this is also similar process. It is a mechanical, there is no corrosion effect. Even I am having a sodium chloride solution, so what I'm doing, I'm suppressing or completely eliminating its corrosive nature by holding that substrate at a minus 200 millivolt over potential. What I'm calling it cathodic protection. But you could ask me, I could go up to minus 1 volt. But if you go into minus 1 volt, the other other complication arises, like hydrogen gas evolution and all that. So in order to prevent that, I just go below the OCP of copper by adding a minus 200 millivolt. So by that way, I'm achieving its erosion condition. Then, but to carry out an erosion, you need a solid particle which will be carried in the liquid and go and impact on the surface. So for that, I used two different size of sand, one 135 micron and another is 235 micron. Then I come to the third one, erosion corrosion. So that is the combination of corrosion plus erosion. So these two combination, what they do, I will run the experiment. Now I remove the cathodic protection from here. So I will, I simply use same velocity range 3.1 to 6 meter per second, and at a the size 135 to 235 micron at a velocity of or the flow rate of 6.3 to 9 per meter 9 meter second. I carried out this experiment. So how I did this experiment, I will just show you this the rig actually. This is actually the first rig. I use a jet impeachment rig. Here I could come, we could do all these three experiments: corrosion, erosion, and erosion corrosion. And then the right side I have another electrode setup called a wall jet electrode. This is what I just want to show you. One experiment I will show you what happens. This mechanism, like the formation of cuprous oxide or the cupric oxide, how it varies from a static to flow condition. So this is what I have, because it's a very small cell, and in that particularly we can study the electrochemical, look at the potential dynamic or impedance. We could do that, and I could see not the formation of the any cuprous oxide. That I will show you some results. But here if I look into this sorry, if I look into this here, this is a reservoir. I have full of 3.5 sodium chloride solution. Then in that a small bucket is there which contains sand. So what happens through this, there is a pipe. I put it here with a filter, and it pumped through to this assembly, through this setup, the jet impeachment setup. The liquid comes and go and heat. But there is another connection I have given here. It is called a I have facilities here. I have created such a way, using playing the different nozzle. I'm creating a vacuum. By creating a vacuum, the ejector assembly which is here, by creating a vacuum, I'm able to suck this sand and maintain a particular concentration of sand, which will go and heat on my surface. So first experiment, I did the corrosion experiment, the flow corrosion experiment, 3.1 to 6 meter per second. When I did that, I isolated the sand, so I was not taking any sand, and now no experiment was not running. Then second experiment, when I did erosion, so sand or the liquid will come through, sand will go there, they mix and form a slurry. But this is very tricky actually. This is the part we need to understand, how this experiment is being carried out. So the sand and liquid get mixed here, and they'll go and hit on your nav surface, which is called working electrode. Then similarly, in the other case, when erosion and corrosion is there, I will also similar experiment I will conduct it. But the moment I do erosion, I only put a cathodic protection minus 200 millivolt extra on the surface, so that way I able to control, because I have a reference electrode here. I am so reference electrode this side, I have a counter electrode here. So this is the way I was carrying out the experiment. But similarly, I kept my NAB, nickel aluminum bronze surface here. I had reference electrode here, the counter electrode over here, and there was a gap of 300 micron. The nozzle will go and heat it. This is I was running, my both flow corrosion and erosion corrosion experiment. So I just want to talk about, before I go into this experiment, this coating actually, because the whole idea was this particular alloy, nickel aluminum bronze, was we took the cast metal. Then what is the need of this coating actually? Because same composition I deposited on a mild steel substrate, so that the whole idea was to refurbish a refurbishment, or maybe a cheaper alternative of a propeller based metal. So this is what I did coating. You can see that these are all having a lot of particles here, but the only thing is that the porosity was one issue here, and we had a lot of unmelted particle also, unmelted oxide, and a little bit of a crack, some crack was there. That I will show you how it reflected in my results. So this is the test material actually. I have nickel aluminum bronze and aluminum bronze, and we can see that these are the cracks here, so we call the pores and all that, and some of the particles which is not melting. This is the we do a ACM. This is your bare metal, base metal, 4360 steel substrate, and all that it was coated. Then we had also some particle like partially melted particles and impurity of of oxides, and some splat boundaries. So this is the first experiment result I will I will talk about here. So what happened here, this is called a flow corrosion experiment. there was no sand particle. I just want to talk about. So here I can, if you look at the x-axis, the velocity, and I looked into the corrosion rate. So now I did the cast knob, this green color. You could see that the cast knob was behaving better than your bare substrate, the base, I mean the 4360, the base one, 4360 carbon steel. Then also if I compared with knob. So this was actually, like we also confirmed with the literature, and we saw that the flow corrosion rate, is a little bit of a higher in case of a coating compared to the cast. It was like 0.8 to 1.5 micron millimeter per year. Then for the cast knob, 0.5 to 0.6 millimeter per year. Then we go to another metal, like which is, when you talk about the ACM, you could see that the coating had a lot of a lot of attack in the pores damage here, and the electrolyte was able to penetrate, and it was able to create the localized corrosion. Then this was a flow corrosion. I did. There was a corrosion and a flow corrosion I did in my wall jet electrode. What I was trying to tell you, if you look at a static case, this the blue color one, this is formation of a cuprous oxide and transformation of a cupric oxide. But in case of here, look at this. This jet impeachment case, I was not able to see the formation because that cuprous chlorocomplex was not able to precipitate on the substrate and is able to carried away by the flow. So that's why it was not able to prevent its, like not able to give any, corrosion resistive properties. So this oxide film was not able to form. The same thing also I could see here, the jet impeachment is complete dissolution. So there was no cuprous chloride complex was not forming. Then I come to erosion. Erosion, because corrosion, we talk about a corrosion rate that is just a millimeter per year. But when it comes to erosion rate, when I do a sand particle, in that case I put another equation, because I'm talking about a liquid, I'm talking about the flow rate of the liquid, then I'm talking about the sand particle. So that is nothing but the slurry which is forming, and the slurry has some size like 135 to 235 micron. So I look into the kinetic energy. So all these parameters I take into and formulate a new equation which we call the volume loss per particle impact. Okay, so now this is the results actually, the volume loss per particle impact, which we call the erosion, and I looked into the kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is nothing but with your velocity and the mass of the particle impinging on the surface. The similar behavior also, the cast knob is here, this is the round one. You can see that cast knob at a very low kinetic energy that also performs better. Erosion rate is less, but when you come to steel, it is very high. Similarly with the coating, it is also very low. This is what we have, we have observed. Then we could see, I'm sorry, you could see here, when the liquid is hitting the with sand particle, you can see it creates some edge, the wear on the substrate. You can see that these two, very distinctive feature, it's creating wear scar. Similarly, also in the flow direction, when sand particle goes and heat and it removes the material. This is what we observe. Then we come to erosion corrosion. But when it comes to erosion corrosion, this is similarly is also, I look at the cast knob. You can lower kinetic energy is almost close to the thermal spread process HBOP knob. But however, as usual, the erosion corrosion rate also increases for coating material compared to the cast knob. This is, and also and also bare the base 4360 steel is actually very higher. And also we can see, this is what actually very particular. This is actually, if you zoom it, these are the phases. We should talk about the alpha phase getting here, and this is kind of a wear scar happening in the direction of the flow. But when it comes to maximum erosion depth, that is when there is a sand particle is impinging, it's giving kind of a plastic deformation is happening. And also this is also, we have seen the same thing. We can see the the way, so one directional, the liquids heating along with the sand, and it's creating the wear scar. Finally, what we talk about, we look at the synergy. This is the concept actually very interesting to understand, because the erosion and corrosion consists of three components: flow corrosion and erosion, then total erosion corrosion. But now the synergy is another factor we came. The total erosion corrosion should be equal to E plus C, but it was never. So there is another factor came, it's called S, and that S is the synergy. So that is the difference between that, and that synergy is actually decides if it's a negative, what happens, if it's a positive, what happens. So we have defined that, if you need a negative value, if you get a synergy, that means you are having a, you're giving some extra safety factor for the material. But if it's a positive, that means your E plus C is less than the T. That is what we have seen in couple of cases. What we do, that the ratio of synergy to percentage we have calculated, and here you can see a lot of materials at a certain erosion rate, or if I look into the lowest kinetic energy, in that study all are negative value. But then when you go on, the impact is increasing, the synergy is going positive side. So that indicates that this material, you have to be you have to, it's very sensitive to the and it increasing the corrosion rate. So finally, what we concluded, if I am going to, with these data, what I have done with the copper based alloys, nickel, aluminum, bronze, in erosion corrosion condition, and I exposed to various velocity. So from the 3.1 to 6 meter per second, I concluded that if this is just an assumption we have taken, and here I have taken a particle diameter 100 micron, but in my original experiment I took 200, 50 to 200 micron. In those cases, if I just assuming that I have a component like pipe, valve, pump, and a propulsor, and I want to know, before I design the component, I know the material, what is the condition they can achieve. So for example, we conclude that up to 3 meter maximum a pipe can be designed. For valve, you can have 5 meter per second. For a pump, you can have 10 meter per second, and a propeller, you have a propulsor system 25 meter per second, only this energy range. So this is the, actually we wanted to come up with an idea that how do you construct a marine based application, a component of using NAB. This is what we gave a conclusion. This is the summary of my work. What we did, that the cast NAB showed higher resistance than the NAB coatings under flow corrosion conditions. Then this coating had a very high sensitivity to impact energy, because of its having a network of cracks plus unmelted particles, then flow density and splat boundary. But however, the whole idea was, we can the whole idea was, if this coating can be used in the low kinetic energy condition, that means when you're trying to refurbish a marine condition. Even from the cast NAB also showed that it is a good erosion corrosion performance at lower carrier energy, and negative synergy was found at all kinetic energy for cast NAB, which shows that it shows some good good properties. And positive synergy was found. That means that the coating needs to be optimized, and because of its the way it's being applied, so then it can be, the property can be improved. I think I came to the end of the talk. I am hopefully I'm able to give some glimpse about the work on my copper based alloys, nickel, aluminum, bronze under erosion corrosion condition, because the jet impingement or the wall jet electrode setup which I have here, I've been working on this, and also now looking into the how to inhibit the erosion corrosion condition in the in this in a 3.5% sodium chloride solution. Thank you very much, and I would look for the interaction with the audience, and I hope people have some understood something, and they will be, if any question is there, kindly ask. Thank you.